You're watching episode 1 of our second series of videos, and today I'm joined by Zach.
Hey,
Hi, Zach.
happy to be here.
Welcome. And today's topic is about the existing and brand new product, ReliaSoft Cloud. So we're going to be talking about that today. And Zach, welcome to ReliaCast. It's your first visit, so please, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Uh, just a little background on myself. I'm an application engineer, just like you, working for HBK. I've been here a little over 5.5 years, supporting basically all of our reliability products, right? Weibel, Alta for accelerated life testing, FMEA, of course, both on the desktop and now in the cloud, as we'll talk about today. BlockSim, Fracas, RCM, RAMs, you name it.
Full suite.
The whole suite, yeah. Yeah, so
Excellent.
that's my background. I've worked with a lot of customers on FMEA and other topics, so I'm excited to talk about our new product today.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
and you're very welcome. Yes. So yeah, as Zach mentioned, a few of those topics we've covered in the first series. So do feel free to go back to earlier videos on YouTube and have a look at those topics that Zach's just mentioned. Today's video is a focus on ReliaSoft Cloud. So yeah, let's kick off with what is it and what's it all about, please, Zach?
Yeah. So we've done FMEA as for software for a really long time, as you know, over 20 years. We've had the product XFMEA, which is our desktop tool. Super functional. It does a lot of stuff. It's great in a lot of its own ways, but it is a desktop tool, right? And FMEA, as you know, is a very collaborative piece of work, right? If you want to create an FMEA, you could feasibly have, a dozen people from different locations across the world all accessing the same document. And there's quite a bit of I would say IT overhead in using a desktop tool, a database tool like ReliaSoft XFMEA to do that, right? So ReliaSoft Cloud is kind of our answer to that for people who are comfortable with having their data stored off-prem in a cloud kind of infrastructure. We, of course, take every security concern that we can. This provides a platform for them to use where they can access it just using a web browser. There's zero IT implementation on their end, no overhead whatsoever. They get a site that they can access, right? And all they have to do is log in through their web browser. So it's an FMEA tool. We have a lot of experience making those, but what differentiates it primarily is that it's the SaaS product. It is
Right.
on the cloud. It's hosted by us. No overhead or concerns from an IT perspective on their end, and you can have people from all over the globe collaborating on the same FMEA at the same time. So that's a quick summary of what it is.
Better, worse, as good as our desktop tool?
Yeah, stuff to compare, right? So it's a brand new tool, which means it doesn't have 20 years of technical debt going into it, right?
Yeah.
So we're much freer to design it how we want from the ground up to do exactly what we want it to do. So in that sense, right, it is aided by some advantages relative to XFMEA. So XFMEA is a great tool, but the cloud-based tool definitely has a cleaner, more modern look to it. Right, we've integrated dashboards from the start, which I think is really great. If you go to the website, you'll see some images of those. Right, those serve as sort of a user homepage and are interactive. It allows users from within these very nice looking dashboards that are basically customized to what information they've accessed within the database. They can kind of dive in and out of different FMEAs and so on very quickly. So
Through the dashboards.
yeah,
Can you
the
do that
interface
through
is
the
very
dashboards?
clean. Yeah, absolutely. Through the
Yeah,
dashboards,
that's
through
really good.
linkages in the dashboards. So it's cleaner, it's more modern, it's in a web browser, and it has again the advantage of being built up from scratch after gaining 20 plus years of experience, whereas XFMEA, it dates back almost to the 90s. So
Yeah, it
it
does,
has
doesn't
those
it?
advantages. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So From a security point of view, there's a question on security. How does security work with user groups and read-only access and that sort of thing? Is one of the questions I've got here. So
Yeah. So we haven't.
elaborate on that one.
Yeah. So we have the license structure. When we sell it, you'll get a batch of users and a batch of viewers, and that's kind of the limit to how we have split things up thus far, right? We have an additional delineation, right? An admin who can create new users and assign them to groups and such, right? So you have users and viewers, which is really nice. You get basically a very large multiple of the numbers of users that you purchase you get as viewers as well, which allows you to really democratize data, so to speak, to anyone who needs access to it, which is very useful. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that does.
Yeah.
I think that does answer the question. I've just got some questions popping up as we run the video, so I'll just
Sure.
flicking through those as we go along. So cloud certainly seems to be the topic of interest at the moment. So I think we've hit the right time for
Right.
cloud. It's
Absolutely.
certainly raising an interest. So yeah, you mentioned SaaS. So yeah, we're hosting this web-based tool. So
Yeah.
the influence on that, how much influence do users and customers have with the future development of the site?
Could you clarify that a little bit for me?
So we've got customers would like to go down certain routes, maybe a certain FMEA standard,
Oh,
and
okay.
so it's how likely is it to get the sort of thing that they want developed into the tool?
Yeah, I can't speak to that specifically when we'll get certain features in when, but what I can speak to, right, is the process, right? With the cloud-based
Yeah,
tool, because we host the software, it makes rolling out updates a lot easier, right? We don't have to, with our desktop tools, and every time we roll out a new version, right, as quickly as we may be able to version it internally, right? That creates a lot of work for customers, right? Because they have to update their software. It has to go through their IT. It has to go through security checks and this and that. The advantage of cloud-hosted software, of course, is just like, you get pushed an update on your iPhone, right? It's very
hmm
similar, right? We can push an update very quickly, and that's what I've experienced since we've released it. Every few weeks, it seems, we have new updates that we push to production. That's to the sites that I use and the sites that our customers use, right? So when we have new implementation of an AI feature, or as recently some updates to our dashboard tool, right? We added dashboards directly in the FMEA screen, right?
yeah.
You just get those updates instantly, right? So early customers, of course, as with any software product, are going to have a lot of influence
Yeah.
on what we prioritize for development. We of course have our own priorities as we continue to move forward and add more features. But one of the chief advantages that we're finding with the cloud-based tool is speed of reaction. Right, we can react much quicker than we could in the past to a customer request that's of high priority.
Okay, and there's that burning question. There's
Right.
rumors of AI sat in
Yes.
this ReliaSoft Cloud. So yeah, I've got 10, 11, 12 questions popping up here about AI. I could pick through them all. It can take me a while to siphon through what's being asked, but in general, can we generalize what the AI is doing in ReliaSoft Cloud?
I think we were really smart in how we
Mm,
implemented the AI. To be honest, again, in total frankness, right? I was very skeptical when I first heard that we were going to be implementing AI into an FMEA tool, right? I don't like the idea of simply telling, ChatGPT to fill out a full FMEA for you or anything like that. It'll do it. Or you can go in ChatGPT right now. I'm sure you've tried it because you're also an FMEA expert. You can tell it, hey, give me some
afterwards.
give me some functions, failure
questionable.
modes, effects, causes. They tend to be not the worst suggestions, but very vague. Right. So if I work for a electric motor an electric vehicle company, right, and I want specific functions and failure modes and so on related to my battery management system, right, I'm not going to get something precise, right, from an AI tool, partially because that information is not open to be digested by an AI tool, and partially because an AI tool just simply isn't that smart. Right, but it will give you decent starting points, right? That's what I noticed when I used like ChatGPT and so on. Right, it'll tell you generically what types of things an impeller and a pump might fail to do, and so on, right? And so the way we implemented it, I was actually really satisfied with. We've implemented it as a sort of mix of a brainstorming and a search tool. Right, so if you go, you say, I got a pump impeller, give me some functions for that. You ask the AI tool, which we've kind of implemented into the interface. It's very easy. You just right-click, AI Assist, add some functions.
Really easy
right?
to find,
Yeah, it'll give you a mix of suggestions, right? It'll say, if you don't have anything on pump impellers sitting in your database, it's going to come up with its own ideas, right? And they'll be vague, but they'll be good starting points, right? On the other hand, if you have a lot of functions already in your database, right, the search mechanism will take over and say, hey, we actually found this other pump impeller over here, right, for this similar named FMEA, right? Maybe you're interested in these functions, right? And we'll give you the actual exact text. And that can be very useful. If there's a relationship between those items within your database, you might use those exact functions. So we implemented it in a way that's really smart, right? It mixes searching using AI to look for objects of high similarity, right? It uses something like cosine similarity. I'm not an expert in AI, but I've absorbed some of the terms, right? Cosine similarity and so on, right? To find similar objects in your own database and suggest those to you. And I'm rambling on here, so feel free to interject. But then what it'll also do, if it can't find anything, it'll suggest something novel. Novel suggestions, just like if you use Copilot or ChatGPT or whatever AI tool, an AI is not going to be perfect. It's going to give you some really silly things, but it will often give you good starting points.
On
and
the
you
silly
can kind of
things
expand on it from there.
I think we all agree that AI is in an engineering and an analytical environment. AI is a very good guide. So it's something to suggest a starting point of somewhere to go and give you some prompts on how you might structure something that you are working on. But you as the analyst really are probably going to have more knowledge than the AI when it comes to the technical terms and what that particular FMEA analysis is going to be. The AI is never going to replace the engineer, but it is definitely going to assist us when we're trying to achieve the things that we are supposed to do, and hopefully it saves us time, because at the end of the day, time is the expensive part. So it it does help out in that front. But
if it helps you find a few similar objects in your database and saves you 30 minutes in FMEA meeting, right? That's exactly what it's designed to do. I'm glad you mentioned that. Just save you time, make sure things are consistent.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was the team meeting part that we always preach. So I think that's a nice summary for what we've talked about so far. So ReliaSoft Cloud makes a very easy platform to bring into a meeting, and the AI aspect is another member of that team. In a sense that it's the AI's some other suggestions above and beyond other people's expertise based on historical data that sometimes is very difficult to go and find quickly. And the AI is going to be using that historical data And as you progress through time, obviously that historical data gets greater and greater, and the AI gets more and more smarter in your business topic. So not necessarily smarter in everything, but
Yeah.
certainly in the language that you're working in. So say you're in an automotive environment and it's your particular brand of vehicle, and you've got all that information loaded into the system, it's going to know the things that you want to hear. So it's not necessarily going to bring anything brand new in. It's more likely to be offering you more suggestions from what you normally write. So it will be in a sense, be speaking your industry's language.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, the more
yeah,
data you load into the FMEA tool, the more it's going to have to search through. Right. So the search aspect of the AI will have more to sift through, and we'll be able to
yeah,
grab more and more relevant responses for you. Right. And it is worth mentioning, since you kind of broached the subject, right? The AI aspect, right, the LLM aspect, where it's generating novel responses, is not going to get your data. So that's an important part of data security,
I
right?
just
Is that
grab that
the
acronym, LNM. What was
yes,
that?
yes,
Yeah.
large language model, yes,
For those that didn't know what that meant,
yes,
you say,
yes,
all these acronyms are new even into our world.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, with ChatGPT, Copilot, all that kind of stuff, you're hearing them a lot more. But you're absolutely right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So the actual AI model, if you're working for Ford and you got competitors over at Toyota, right? It's not actually taking your data, training itself, and then going to spew those suggestions out to other people. Your
yeah,
data is never being used to update any kind of open source model or anything like that. The more things you put in the database, the more the search aspect will have to draw from, right? The more accurate responses you're going to get in that respect. But the baseline AI tool will remain the baseline AI tool, whatever is publicly available, just integrated into the interface so that you can use it more easily.
it's got two views. So
Yeah,
it can see your protected data, and then it can see generic
absolutely.
information outside.
And those
But
never crisscross.
those never cross
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
That's good.
absolutely.
Good to note.
Yeah.
That's
No,
good
I'm
to
glad you
note.
brought that
So
up. Yeah.
commercially sensitive information.
Oh yeah, no. We're not
Definitely a
sharing
good
your
point to
data.
note. AI accuracy.
There are different definitions of AI accuracy. I think in the
Yeah,
context where we're finding it most important right now is when it's sifting through your database trying to find matches, right? Because the side of it, right, it finds no matches within your database. It's just going to be querying. We use OpenAI for those AI responses, right? And whether those are accurate or not, largely out of our hands, right? We don't
yeah.
control that AI tool. Uh, and accuracy is always going to vary. Sometimes it's going to give you very good responses. Sometimes it's going to give you very poor responses. Um, uh, the portion that we control, right, is trying to tune the search aspect of the AI. So to look through your database, find similar objects and suggest those objects, right? So what similar functions, what similar failure modes have you used in the past for similar objects in the FMEA you're currently working on, right? And that's actually a very challenging problem, right? How do you tune it to give you suggestions frequently enough, but not so frequently that it gives you poor suggestions, right? And that's a really
Yeah,
challenging, really interesting problem. And we're getting feedback from customers. We're integrating it. We're retuning it, right? But it's never going to be perfect. Sometimes it will under-suggest. Sometimes it will over-suggest. Right? There is no special sauce. It's going to vary case by case. So that's a great question. Uh,
yeah.
uh, yeah,
Right. Thanks, Zach, for coming. It's been a pleasure to have you. And I say, in summary, ReliaSoft Cloud, really, really good tool. Looking forward to seeing the future with this tool and following the journey of it and tracking it. We may have a video with updates later on in the series. I think we probably will, the way this tool's going. At the moment, ReliaSoft Cloud is only for FMEA. There isn't any other tools in there. Those familiar with the XFMEA tool will be familiar with various different tools that you can do within that. At the moment, it's just the FMEA tool, and that will, as things come along, we'll bring those up and we'll be discussing those. So thanks for watching. You've been watching ReliaCast, and please check out all the videos. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever's down there these days. It changes all the while. And also to the viewers, please comment any ideas on topics that you want to know about, things you want to talk about, and that you want to burning to get the answer to, questions and things. Feel free, drop it in the comments. If you want to know more about ReliaSoft Cloud, also pop that in the comments. We will contact you. We will chase that up and make sure we put you in contact with somebody with regards to access to the tool and have a look at it. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And goodbye. See you on the next video.